Okay, so here we shall explain about what is meant by a random variable. Random variable. So it is defined as a random variable. A random variable is a real valued function. Is a real valued function whose domain is the sample space. Whose domain is the sample space of a random experiment. Of a random experiment. So, for example, suppose let us consider the random experiment. Let us consider the random experiment, which is tossing two coins simultaneously. Tossing two coins simultaneously. So here, the sample space of this given experiment will be, so we can get both heads, we can get head, tail, or we can get tail and head, or we can get both tails. Okay, then, so if I say, if x is a variable, if x is a variable which denotes, x is a variable which denotes the number of heads obtained, the number of heads obtained, then what? Then we can say x is a random variable. X is a random variable, and for each outcome, the value of x is given as, the values of x are, so the value of x for both heads, that will be equal to 2, and the value of x for head and tail, that will be equal to 1, and the value of x for tail and head, that will be equal to 1, and the value of x for both tails, that would be obviously 0. Okay. So here x is an example of a random variable. So we can explain it by using one question. Suppose the question is that um, suppose a coin is tossed thrice. A coin is tossed thrice. Then, yeah, a coin is tossed thrice by a person, suppose. Then, for every head, obtained, he gets, suppose, rupees 2. And for every tail, he gets rupees 1.50, suppose. No, for every tail he has to give 1.50, suppose. For every tail, he has to give rupees 1.50. Then let x denotes the total amount. X denotes the total amount that is gained or lost, by him Then it has been asked to show that we have to show that x is a random variable. X is a random variable. Uh, and we have to exhibit it as a function. We have to exhibit as a function on the sample space of the experiment. The sample space of the experiment. So how to solve it? So here the name of the random experiment is simply, that is, tossing a coin thrice. Tossing a coin thrice. So therefore the sample space of this experiment would be head, head, head. We can get all three heads, or we can get head, head, tail, or we can get head, tail, head, or we can get tail, head, head, or we can get tail, tail, head, or we can get tail, head, tail, or we can get head, tail, tail, and we can get all three tails. So these are the 8 possible outcomes. Then if we find x of head, 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 it means x represents, where x is what? X represents the total amount that is gained or lost. Total amount gained or lost. So if it is lost, then we can signify it by one negative value. And if it is gained, then we can represent it by one positive value for x. So x of head, 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 that would be, so all three heads, for each head he will get ₹2. So he will get ₹6. And for head, head, tail, for the 2 heads he will get ₹2 each. And for the tail he has to give back 1.5. So it will be 4 minus 1.5. So that is ₹2.50. Then x of head, tail, head, that would be also same, ₹2.50, and that would be also equal to x of tail, head, head. And similarly for x of tail, tail, head, that would be also equal to x of tail, head, tail, and that would be also equal to x of head, tail, tail, and that would be equal to for one head he will get ₹2, and for the 2 tails he has to give ₹1.50. So that would be 2 minus 3, so that is ₹1, that is minus ₹1, means he has to give ₹1, so it is lost by him. And similarly x for tail, 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 that would be like all three tails, so this would be 3 into rupees minus, this would be 1.5, so that would be minus ₹4.550. Okay. Therefore we can say that for each element of the sample space, for each element of the sample space, or we can say for each outcome, x has a unique value. Okay. X has a unique value. Hence we can say, hence the function, hence x is a function whose whose range would be given as, whose range would be, range means it is the set of all the outputs, and we know that domain means what? Domain of a function means it is the set of all the inputs. It means it is a set of all values of x, set of all values of x. It means if I have like y equals to f of x, then the set of all values of this x will be called as the domain of the function f of x. And so the set of all the outputs, it means range means the set of all values of y. That would be called as the range. So x is a function where the range would be given as, so it is um, minus 4.50 and comma minus 1 comma 2.50 comma 6. So this is your final answer. Thank you.